Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to completely rewire how you look at offensive strategy in Ultimate. We're taking a really close look at the mechanics of moving the disc, focusing specifically on functional brakes and how to gain the brake side using sheer momentum. If you've ever felt totally stuck on offense, you are definitely going to want to pay attention to this.
All right, picture this. I want to anchor us in a very specific, universally frustrating scenario. You've got the disc, you look up, and nothing. The open side is completely locked down, the defense is blanketing your cutters, the mark is absolutely suffocating you, doing their job perfectly. What now? Usually this is where the panic sets in, right? But the logic of our source material points out something brilliantly simple. If the open side is a brick wall, we need to attack the other side. We need to attack the empty brake side and go exactly to where there are literally zero defenders.
So let's jump into Section 1, attacking the brake side.
To bust out of that lockdown defense, we actually have to make a fundamental shift in our strategy. We've got twin goals here. First, we need to learn how to gain the brake side using physical momentum instead of relying on those difficult stationary pivots. And second, we want to learn exactly how to exploit that newly open space for an immediate continuation pass. We aren't just trying to get one lucky throw-off, we want to unlock the entire field.
Moving on to Section 2, traditional versus functional brakes.
This right here illustrates that paradigm shift perfectly. Think about the traditional brake over on the left. Where is all the pressure? It's entirely on the thrower. They're standing still, trying to muscle a throw around a leaping, hyperactive mark using a really difficult pivot. It's exhausting, low-percentage work. But with functional brakes, the dynamic completely flips. The receiver is actually the one breaking the mark, simply by using their horizontal momentum. Because the receiver is out there doing the heavy lifting by running into open space, the thrower is left with a ridiculously simple task, an easy, straight pass. It turns a high-stress gangle into an elegant, reliable connection.
Which brings us to Section 3, the slash and the lead. Let's look at the mechanics.
Before we dive into the solution, we kind of have to admit the inherent flaw in our standard offense. The source material hits the nail on the head. A traditional undercut loses yards during slowdown. Think about the physics involved for a second. When a receiver sprints straight at the thrower, they eventually have to slam on the brakes to catch the disc. That sudden deceleration, it kills your forward progress, and functionally, it just stops your offense dead in its tracks.
So instead of that yard-killing undercut, the alternative is the horizontal slash. And the benefits here are massive. First off, slashing horizontally across the field means you maintain full field visibility. No more turning your back on the downfield space. But more importantly, that horizontal momentum physically carries you deep into the brake side. You're using sheer kinetic energy to bypass the defense entirely. It's like a cheat code.
Now, with the receiver doing all that running, what exactly is the thrower doing? Well, if you're a handler, your focus just got radically simplified. Your only job is to make an easy, straight upfield pass. No crazy release angles required at all. The only real challenge is the timing. You just need to time that lead pass so the receiver catches the disc right in stride exactly the moment they cross into that brake lane. Let's break down the anatomy of this play in real time. It's a very precise chain reaction. Step 1, the receiver slashes horizontally. Step 2, the thrower reads that momentum and puts out an easy, straight pass. Step 3, the receiver catches the disc perfectly in stride as they enter the brake lane. Boom. By chaining these three simple actions together, you bypass the mark completely, guaranteeing a successful brake without a single person executing a high-stress maneuver.
Let's look at Section 4, creating a cyclone flow. This is where it gets really fun. If we zoom out to the macro level, we see that the functional brake's biggest advantage actually isn't that first catch. The true superpower here is unmarked continuation. Because the receiver caught the disc on the run, moving away from the trailing defenders, they are rewarded with this glorious, brief window where they have absolutely no mark. And that window allows for an immediate, devastating continuation throw right down the brake side.
When you execute this from what the source calls the 3H position, using front-of-stack players or running handler slashes from the open side, the result is completely devastating. A horizontal slash originating from this specific position literally slices right across the grain of the defensive force. While the defense is trying to push you one way, your momentum is completely dismantling their entire setup. And this is where the momentum truly starts snowballing. We're talking about chaining these functional brakes together. It starts with that handler slash to dismantle the force. Then, because of that unmarked continuation window we just talked about, the new thrower can immediately launch another functional brake to the next slasher. This continuously moves the disc laterally across the field, creating this compounding, unstoppable rhythm.
The ultimate endgame of all this strategy is what we call cyclone flow. It's when you chain these functional brakes together, moving the disc laterally so incredibly fast that the defense literally cannot set their marks. You completely shatter their defensive structure. They end up constantly chasing shadows across the width of the field, totally unable to stop the ball because they can't even get into position to apply a force.
Which brings us to a final, highly provocative thought to wrap up this explainer. If your momentum can completely break the mark for you, why on earth are you still pivoting? Why fight a losing, stationary battle when the geometry of the field and the basic physics of the horizontal slash offer you such an elegant, wide-open alternative? Keep that in mind the next time you step onto the field. Stop fighting the mark and start letting your momentum do the hard work.